What is up? Welcome into A3 Late Night. It is Sunday night. We are going live on YouTube immediately following the final whistle of San Diego against Bay FC, and we are recapping the entirety of the NWSL Week 7 matches. I'm Lisa Carlin, but I can't do this alone. I never can. I need my friends with me. I have Christine Cupo and Jess McDonald late night. Guys, how is it going? Christine, Jess, how's it hanging, guys?
This weekend had everything. I'm hyped now. I'm now reinvigorated. That last minute goal in this San Diego Bay match, which might be a problem, but right now I'm buzzing.
Same. I have the same feeling. Like coming into this, I'm like, whew, okay, mama getting a little tired. And then Trinity Armstrong scores, and I'm like, I'm ready to run through a brick wall now. So let's go. I don't care what time it is now.
Let's go. I know we're going to be wired all night long after that.
So
and
midnight beep test then? You guys are in? Yeah, let's go.
Christine, absolutely
honey, I would never volunteer to do something like that. I don't even like running.
Not. I don't do burpees anymore, and I don't run the beep test after I was done playing. Jess, is there anything that you're like, I'm not doing that ever again because I'm not playing?
Yeah, I will never volunteer to just run. I'm like, I've done enough running throughout my life, like forcefully running. I can go to training, soccer practice, that's different. But like, I've had friends recently asking me to do like runs with them. Like my fiance is like, will you go on runs with me? And I'm like,
Damn,
no.
Jess, fine. I rescind my
And he's like,
invitation to go for a run with me. I
and
get
that's
it. You
okay.
just don't want to
I'm
run.
okay.
No,
Like,
Jess,
no,
no.
I do not like running. No.
That's so surprising to
I've
me.
done enough.
All
done
you
enough.
did when you played, Jess, was run around the field.
Yeah.
Like nonstop. You were
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
good thing that none of us had to run tonight. All we had to do was run our eyeballs over the screen and watch
Exactly.
everyone else run and play. We have a fabulous show planned for everyone. We are talking NWSL Week 7, our biggest takeaways. Of course, we do our NWSL Weekly Best 11, where we get to pick the best 11 players from the week. And to start the show, we are chatting San Diego Wave in their stoppage time 2-1 win over Bay FC. They did it at home. The Wave pick up 3 points in a 95th minute stoppage time goal by the rookie Trinity Armstrong. She becomes the 10th rookie to score this year. And I've just got to say, the kids, Christine, they're so all right. They are more than all right.
I swear to God, every damn week we have like a new hero and they are a wee child. And I'm like, wow, like I literally feel so obsolete, but I've never been more proud. Like, let's go domestic women's game because they continue to pull up, right? Like you think about last year's rookies and you're like, oh, you're a mainstay now. This year's rookies, every single team has had somebody that stepped up week over week. And then tonight we get to see Trinity Armstrong pull up and be like, game winner, like is nothing. Like it was nothing. No pressure. I got it. They've only been fighting for this. They haven't been able to finish. We've had a few deflections. San Diego Wave had Bay on their back. Like they were just getting tucked in. Okay. They did more defending than anything else this game. But San Diego Wave looked good. It's just they weren't finishing their chances. And then here comes what? 17-year-old Trinity Armstrong is like, let me just get the game winner for you.
Absolutely. As Edward Robinson says, who's joining us live on YouTube, center backs rule. Because for San Diego in this game, it was Kennedy Wesley and Trinity Armstrong, the two center backs scoring both the goals for San Diego. Carly Lima, also a rookie, but for Bay FC, she got one goal in the 18th minute throughout this game. So it was looking like a 1-1 draw for most of it. But Jess, when you watch this 90-minute game between San Diego and Bay FC, did you feel like one team had more of the momentum, had more of the chances? And why was that San Diego?
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, first and foremost, if we look at how many shots they had 17, 6 of them on target, I believe, and Bay FC with only 6 shots, 2 on target. So it was very obvious who was on their front foot the whole game. But if you look at San Diego as an entire unit throughout the season so far, just how attacking minded they are. They just play this beautiful soccer that is just so hard to defend. And so it wasn't surprising to me that from start to finish, they dominated this game against Bay FC. Bay FC just looked like they stood no chance whatsoever.
Mhm.
And so with that being said, it was only a matter of time where San Diego was going to get another goal, whether if it was going to be in stoppage time, because even for me, I'm like, they're bound to get one. They've got to.
Yes.
My eyes were glued to the screen still. And here comes Trinity Armstrong doing Tar Heel things. Shout out.
We got, I'm just gonna get a pennant for each one. I'm just gonna have my like go Bruins, go Tar Heels, and I just like randomly throw them up here and
Please
here.
do.
It's fine. You know what? I like to think that if Maria Sanchez would have converted that pen, that the
Yeah.
momentum would have shifted a little bit more in San Diego's favor. Maybe they would have gotten more of those shots off successfully, scored a few more goals. But you got to hand it to Silkowitz. What the hell? Like she knew, like she just
It was
I could
me.
never be a goalkeeper. I know I could never be a goalkeeper, but the way that she just threw her body out like that, hand that saved that. Just the guesstimation of it all, brilliant. She
It
should
was
pat
such a
herself
good
on the back
save.
today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she really should.
Absolutely. I mean, Jordan Silkowitz had a good game all in all, right? Of
Mhm.
course, a lot of it stems from that penalty kick save in the 26th minute against San Diego's Sanchez, but she read it so perfectly. Her ability to wait for the shot to come and react to it, read, and then the athleticism to actually get there, extend her arm and save it was bar none, impressive goalkeeping from the young player. Because remember, coming into this 2025 season, Bay FC didn't have a single goalkeeper roster that had played in any regular season games. They didn't have any NWSL minutes. And now you have a player like that saving a penalty in that manner. It stems a lot off of what Albertine Montoya said at the start of the year about Jordan Silkowitz. They knew, you're going to be our girl. They knew at the end of last year, you're going to be our number one goalkeeper. We are instilling all of the confidence in you. And when you do that to such a young player who doesn't have experience, knowing that they're going to make mistakes, they're going to have things that don't go their way and moments where they fail, but you've got your entire team and your coach behind you giving you that support, you're going to be fine. You are going to be fine. Now, when you're going up against the San Diego side, like the wave that we saw tonight, it is terrifying because they were so good in their game plan. They were so technical. They built through the press incredibly well. And then on top of that, all the individual skill that San Diego has been so electric to watch, Jess, especially when we give a little love to Trinity Armstrong, the game-winning goal scorer and the rookie. Is she here potentially? Do we get to chat with Trinity Armstrong now?
Is it possible?
Loading.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Trinity, welcome, potentially. We can't see you yet. Can you hear us? Maybe not. But Jess looks like she's
Maybe
ready
not.
for open mic night.
Oh,
Are you
I'm
gonna
ready.
sing a song?
I'm ready.
Trust
I'm
me to drop some
fangirling right
bars.
now. I've never
I-
fangirled over a 17-year-old. I'm fangirling right now like crazy.
This is 2025, Jess. They just keep
Yes.
getting younger and more talented. It's absolutely insane.
It's nuts, dude. There
Oh,
she goes.
Hi. We are joined live by Trinity Armstrong, the rookie with the game-winning goal at San Diego tonight, live from the field. She looks like she's decked out as well in all the fanfare that comes with scoring not only a professional goal, but getting the game winner. Trinity, are you still there?
She's busy
Yes,
collecting
I
a
can
high
hear
five.
you. Can you hear me?
Okay, perfect.
Yes, we can hear you. Congratulations. What an insane game.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. It was wild.
Talk us through that goal. It came off the corner kick, but where was your positioning in the box? Kind of take us through what you saw as that play developed.
Honestly, like a couple plays before, whenever we had some of the corners, we were debating whether or not we should switch it up and go back post. And I was talking with Tinza, and she was like, I asked her if she could hit it back post, and she was like, yes. And so I told her the next one that we have, I wanted her to hit back post. And honestly, I just positioned like how I just felt it. And I'm just so happy that I got in the back of the net.
That's insane. Congrats. Like the game winner. Like, are you just absolutely buzzing right now? Like, are all the fans in the stadium still losing their mind? Because I know some of them already made it into the A3's chat and we're already talking about you.
Oh yes.
Sorry, guys.
Honestly,
Heather.
yeah, no, it's honestly amazing. The fact that I got my first professional goal at home, and then of course, like at the beginning of the game, I know that going against Lima was going to be a challenge, and even though she got that first goal, I knew that I needed to step it up for the team and for everybody around me because we were working so hard to get this win, to get these 3 points.
Absolutely amazing. I love that you stepped up in a leadership role at 17 years old. What was your preparation like coming into this season? I know you started off with a minor injury, but as you came back, what was your thought as a rookie, as one of the youngest to be playing in this league?
Honestly, I just knew that I was going to be surrounded by so many talented players from all over the world. We have such a diverse team, and I was first coming into seeing like how I can implement myself and be a leader on the field, even though I'm young. And I fully believe that if you're able to play the game, and no matter what age you are, you should be able to be on the field. And
Amen to that. Age ain't nothing but a number.
yeah, I'm just so glad that Jonas was able to trust me to play on the field, and I'm surrounded by so many amazing players, and they have made it so easy to love where I'm at and love who I'm playing with. So.
Trinity, it is no wonder that Jonas trusts you because you are so technically skilled. You see the game so well. You play these great line-breaking balls, keep possession. But I've been so impressed with how San Diego has game planned this year across multiple different games against different opponents, specifically tonight against Bay. You guys had a game plan. You knew what you were doing. You knew how to execute it. What does that look like leading into a game like this? Is it very specific against Bay, or is that just how Jonas coaches?
Yeah, honestly, we knew the first couple of games we wanted to gel and just kind of find our footing. And whenever we went up against KC, we realized that we weren't like playing like ourselves and we didn't have our true identity. And so we completely reframed it. And Jonas has put so much support in us, and we put so much trust in him back as a coach. And we were just like, we are a possession-based team. We like to play around teams, and we want to keep the ball, but we also know how to attack. So how do we implement all of that in the game? And it's just shown game after game these past 3 games.
I know we have to let you go and celebrate Trinity, but you have to let us know before you leave us. Do you have any hype song that you play going into games? Any preparation rituals? Any superstitions?
Honestly, I think right now the only thing is my hair. I carried it on from UNC. It used to be the blues and the baby blues and then the white. And I was just like, I kind of wanted to bring it into the pro life. So that's probably my only one.
Okay, Trinity, only because we're having technical difficulties, so we can't see you. And this is also a podcast. Tell us what your hairstyle is right now. Can you describe it?
Yeah, so basically in the middle of my hair, I part it. And then I have this two light blue ponytails at the start. And then I kind of put it back into another ponytail and add the pink. And then I do one more and add the blue. And then I put it into like a bun. And I slick it back. And that I put pre-wrap too. Like pink pre-wrap now since I'm out wave.
It is fabulous. And now you got a goal for it. So I expect that hairstyle every single day, every time you step on the pitch. But one last question for you. Is scoring professional goals as good as it looks? Because you make it look really good.
It's amazing. I mean, we have one of the best atmospheres to play in, and it was just so amazing to be able to score in front of the home fans. So honestly, and surrounded by so many people that I love. So.
Congratulations. Incredible win, incredible goal by you. Thanks for joining us live post-match from the field. I hear the music still. Go celebrate with your teammates.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, guys, how exciting was that? I wish we could have seen her hair. I know what it looks like from watching the games, but I wish we could have seen it while we watched her. But 3 points for San Diego in this game. Now they're at the top of the standings in 3rd place, just behind Kansas City and Orlando. And a lot of it having to do, Jess, with such a young player like Trinity Armstrong and what she's able to do on the pitch and play so much bigger than she is.
Yeah, and this, you know what? This was one of those teams that I think I said this in the last episode that I was on A3. This is one of those teams that I had written off in preseason. I'm like, I don't know what they're doing. They have so many young players, so much inexperience, and I just didn't know what their identity was going to be like. But I'll tell you one thing, this team has shut me up because I have been at the edge of my seat every minute of every game San Diego Wave has played, whether they're up in a game, down in the game. They're just so much fun to watch. You can see what their identity is. It's easy. And then they execute it too to top it off. That's how impressive they've been. And I think what Jonas has done is it's been nothing short of amazing for this young team. And Trinity Armstrong, hey, I said it at the beginning of this season. She's my rookie of the year. So I'm rooting for her. And I'm also biased.
Flowers, Jess.
She's a Tar Heel. So, hey, I told everybody look out for this young woman because she impressed me at the college level as a teenager, coming off of winning a championship with UNC and now coming into the pros at 17. I'm like, y'all watch for this young woman. And here she is making a name for herself already.
She is, and she looks really good doing it. I think that the style that Jonas Edeval and San Diego is playing helps all of these players on San Diego use their strengths, use their creativity, play their best football, because every single one on this roster looks really good week in and week out. It's like we could have put them on our A3 weekly best 11. They could be dubbed as top international, top defender across the league right now. I think a lot of it has to do with the style of play that they're playing, because San Diego has set things that they want to do in a game. They execute them very well. I mean, their possession, the Waves' possession to break down Bay FC's high press during this game was so impressive to watch. They were finding spaces, moving off the ball to one another. It wasn't hectic at all. They were problem solving as a group. The passes were perfect, right to each other's feet, seamless. It was so orchestrated, and it's such pretty soccer, guys. It's gorgeous to top it all.
This is my favorite flavor for sure. Like those quick passes, the movements on and off the ball, the verticality that you get from Cascarino, Dali, Savvy McCaskill fighting for the ball and just winning those to flip those counters. They're playing really pretty football. And I think that was essentially what Jonas was trying to do coming in. You just didn't know what he was going to be able to do with what he had.
But 7 games in, that's impressive that he has already executed this level of beauty and success, because it is, we are 7 games in. San Diego sits at 13 points, their third straight win, Christine. They're third in the standings right now.
Yep. It's nuts because think about it. Yes, 7 in, but we examined this team thoroughly last season through all of their areas of flux, right? And this team had been asked largely way too many questions. They couldn't really execute. It was just an amalgam of mess that they got stuck under, even prior to Casey Stoney leaving, where you see how effective Jonas is in contrast in a small amount of time in this vacuum to even what Casey Stoney was trying to do in the beginning of the season, predating any of the other additional issues. It's really promising. I think San Diego Wave fans should be excited as hell for this team. I know that every week it's a question mark, and this week 7 is emblematic of that, right? You just don't know what's going to happen. But I think all signs are absolutely good right now for the Wave.
Well, if the pulse check for San Diego Wave fans is anything like the San Diego Wave fans pulse check in our YouTube live chat right now, Christine, they're off the walls. They are ecstatic. A 2-1 win for the Wave over Bay FC. 3 points catapult them to third in the standings. And that was just one game of the weekend, guys. Don't go anywhere. We are talking our biggest takeaways from the NWSL Week 7 action next. everyone. Welcome back to Attacking Third late night action as we go live every weekend immediately following the final NWSL match. Watch on YouTube at youtube.com/attacking third, or of course, listen anywhere you get your pods. NWSL Week 7 action. We are talking our biggest takeaways, and boy, oh boy, were there a lot of them, because we saw different score lines across the league and action that happened. And as people in our chat are saying, it was incredibly chaotic. It started Friday with a 4-3 goal score line between Angel City and Washington Spirit. Racing Louisville picked up a 2-1 win over Houston Dash. Seattle Reign took down Kansas City Current 1-0, and the Portland Thorns shut out Orlando Pride 1-0 as well. The North Carolina Courage, a 2-0 win over the Utah Royals. Gotham and Chicago drew 0-0, and San Diego capped off the weekend with a 2-1 win over Bay FC. Christine, besides the score lines and some of the crazy ones that happened, what is your biggest takeaway from NWSL Week 7 action?
Expect the unexpected, quite frankly. That was it this weekend, because we know that spiritually I need to root for Louisville, right? And go on. Here we have Louisville's first comeback win ever, 3 years. Like, I'm proud of them to do that. Like, I don't know what I expected of them at this point, but we got some giant slaying. We got Kansas City falling, Orlando falling. You had North Carolina with their second win, and they looked infinitely better. I guess when you get some bounce in your boots and a little bit more confidence back, like it makes a hell of a difference. Then we got the wildness that was Gotham versus Chicago. Chicago, who have been fighting for their lives all season, if not 2 seasons now, end up a 0-0. I was not prepared, but I think that I have to say my biggest takeaway is how damn wrong I was. Like, I know we were asked to pick rookies in the beginning, like our way too early, like, hey, watch this player. I wish I would have known I was supposed to say Riley Tiernan, who's like now second in the Golden Boot race in Week 7.
And so unassuming as well. When she scores goals, you're like, oh, that looked way too easy, Riley.
What do you mean? A brace, a game winner. Like, what are we doing? A guess. I am a guess. Like, she is a player that absolutely excites me, but I was like, girl, where the hell did you come from? I was literally like, all right, there are so many, and this isn't a knock on Riley. It's
Christine,
more
you know where she came from? Jersey. She's a Jersey.
Are you raw? And I'm not supposed to say that because that was not my university, but I'll root for her. There's so many talented players coming into the league this year specifically, and that's not to say that it hasn't been a talented pool previously, but I think that without the draft, it seemed like there was this wild abundance, and they all came in so hot, just performing left and right. Carly Lima, like the first couple weeks where you got these rookie goals, and there's been this sustainability about a lot of them. But Riley Tiernan, I mean, all right. And then I know there's Angel City fans in the chat already hollering at me, but Giselle Thompson, first goal, links up with her sister. Like, these are the romantic storylines. I'll take those. It's nice.
There's a lot of good ones, a lot of good storylines so far this year. And I think we talk about the rookies so much, especially on A3 over the last couple of weeks, because there was so much unknown heading into this year, how they were going to perform. Usually with the draft, we get little highlight reels. We watch college games. Like, the amount of prep I do to cover a draft is like, I could tell you everything about these rookies. And I just didn't know enough this year because there wasn't enough information out there to actually gather about them. And they have been so impressive this year. I think there's also been a pleasant surprise in some of these underdog teams, because my biggest takeaway of this weekend is that the parity in the league is back. 2 weeks ago, week 1 and week 2, I was like, okay, it's going to be Kansas City, Orlando, Washington, Gotham. Like, I could have predicted what I thought was going to be the entirety of the standings just based on the fact that Kansas City and Orlando didn't miss a beat from last season. And they looked so good. But this weekend proved me wrong and proved that any single team in the NWSL can win on any given day, because the top 3 teams heading into this week's action, they all lost. Kansas City Current, Orlando Pride, and Washington Spirit. Then you throw in a Gotham FC who drew 0-0 with the Chicago Stars, who are bottom of the table, going through a managerial change. Everything Chicago is doing is an uphill battle, and they shut out Esther, who's been scoring goals. Like, she brushes her teeth during the day, twice a day. It's insane that we could have teams like Seattle shutting out Kansas City, Portland shutting out Orlando, because they didn't look like the strongest teams in the first couple of weeks. But I am so glad that like the NWSL hasn't lost its sparkle of parity that makes this league one of the best in the world, hands down.
How
I
crazy is it
absolutely
though that
agree.
we used to like ask who can stop Temwa Shawinga, and now you got a very casual Seattle side keeping Kansas City a lid on their whole pot.
Not even Kansas City, right? Temo Shawinga hasn't scored in a couple of matches.
Yeah.
North Carolina was like, yeah, we can do that. Like, it's fine. We'll slow her down. We'll figure it out. Yeah.
This is the longest she has gone without a goal in 4 games now, since May 8th through the 25th of 2024. Little fun fact I had to look up
Wow.
the other day, but
That's
this is tied
really
for her
alarmed.
longest like non-scoring streak.
That is I love a fun fact, Jess.
Yeah.
Is that hard as a forward when you go through a little bit of a drought like that?
It is. It's terrible because like obviously you think your main objective is obviously, assists and goals. And then when you're not fulfilling your job, as a striker, it can mentally get to you. I don't know how Chewinga, handles her situations like that, but I think once the goals start flowing back in, or even just an assist, that'll get you going a little bit more, inch by inch. But when you're on this drought, it's rough because I've had a couple droughts throughout my playing career. And I mean, like, even the greatest of the greatest go through droughts. I've seen Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, Marta, you name it. Like, we've all gone through it, but it's rough. It's not fun. It's not fun soccer at that point. So hopefully she finds her front foot. I mean, she's already beating her own records this season, but this just so happens to be one awkward one for her. But
And it's only 4 games.
it's only 4
not
games.
even that long.
To top it off. That's why I'm like,
It feels it when she's that productive. I mean, damn. It used to be like her scoring multiple goals per game and like being terrified of her.
Yeah.
And for 4 games feels like a lifetime for Temwa
Mhm.
Shawinga.
It
I
really
literally had her like golden boot in the bag like before, like months before the season even started. So
Mhm.
we're now arriving at week 7, and the other crazy part is like what Cascarino and Alyssa Thompson are the only 2 players right now with multiple goals and assists this season at this point, which not so long ago we were having the conversation about Alyssa Thompson just finally getting activated and scoring goals. It's just
Truth.
it's crazy how much it shifts, and it does. It speaks to the parity, it speaks to the talent in the league, and it speaks to some of the coaching adjustments that these players are under where they're all of a sudden catching fire, and we're the ones that get spoiled for it.
Absolutely, we are. And even with Shawinga not scoring, I mean, the people in our chat want to let us know that she's still scary, and she does change
Oh yeah,
the game.
I'm still
Oh,
shook.
absolutely.
Exactly. Lizzie, who was at the game in Seattle, was sitting next to someone who, when they saw Shawinga sub into the game, was like, oh no. So everyone is still a little scared. Lizzie, thanks for that little shout out about that. Taking us right to Lumen Field for that game. It is impressive though to see kind of these other teams slow her down, stop her, and end all this parity. So that's one of my biggest takeaways from this weekend. Jess, what about you? What stood out to you?
Oh, this one is so tough. I think that there's a couple. First of all, Laura Harvey beating Vlatko Andonovski for the first time since August 11th, 2019. Laura Harvey's first win against Vlatko Andonovski since August 11th, 2019.
What do
That
you
was
think that
one.
text was to
Just
her or to
emojis.
him, right? Like, what do you think their texts were after the game? That's hilarious.
Oh man, probably like that handshake emoji. Respect.
No, I bet
Next time.
Vladko said, looked up the next time they play each other and said, "I'll see you on this date." Come to
Yeah,
my house.
absolutely. Yes. But Kansas City also not looking like themselves. Speaking of which, I think that with Michelle Cooper and Nichelle Prince missing out on the wings, they missed out a lot on those players because that's where they could have capitalized and exposed Seattle Reign. On the flip side, though, I got to give my girl Lynn Biandolo some credit for her first goal for Seattle. I'm like, shout out, sis, still scoring golazos now. Now we're seeing the old Lynn back. She had a pretty good game, and I was very proud of her to get a goal. And then, you know what? I would have to go with Courage, just getting their second win. They were just that team where they were sitting at the bottom, pretty, and I'm like, okay, come on, get something, get some points, something. And so just back-to-back wins against the number one team, Kansas City Current last week, and now they go into Utah, dominate, get the clean sheet, and I think, hopefully they're on the rise at this point.
Do you like this new look and tactical formational flexibility that we're seeing from Sean Nahas and North Carolina? Because he's trying to put players in more like advantageous positions with Ryan Williams, who was traditionally just an outside right back who got forward. She now has so much more freedom to not just go forward, but stay forward, which is making her so much more dangerous. But even Ashley Sanchez, like the question for North Carolina this year, Jess, was always, how do you get all these players on the field in their best positions? Do you think we're now starting to see that from North Carolina?
We're definitely starting to see it. And Ryan Williams has a big reason she's one of the biggest reasons for that. Like you said, she's getting up high. And I think she's been combining very well with whoever the winger is out on the right side with her, which has been mostly Ashley Sanchez throughout this season. And I think that they still have that piece of the puzzle that's missing from their team, even though a lot of these goals and assists are coming only from Ryan Williams, really. She had a goal and assist last game, which is great for an outside back, but where's your 9? Like, where's the hold up play? And that's the gap. That's the piece of the puzzle I truly believe Courage are still missing. I love this season so far for Ryan Williams. I think the exposure is getting everyone's attention because I got to watch her journey since day one and get to where she's at now. It's been nothing short of amazing. But at the end of the day, I think that, the likes of Jaden Shaw, I still want to see her find herself with the Courage. I don't think she's meshed very well with the way that they play. And then to top it off, just that 9 position. So do I love what Sean Nahas is doing with the Courage? No, I like it. I don't love it.
If it's effective, though.
It's effective. It can be.
Is it effective?
But it also cannot be.
No fair.
Fair.
Played Utah this weekend, who hasn't challenged a lot of opponents this year.
Yeah, I mean, Allie Sentnor needs some help. That poor girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, and North Carolina, the 2 goals that they scored this weekend one was a forced own goal, which is great.
It was also a ball that was in from Ryan Williams.
Exactly. It counts as a goal, and we'll still count it. And then the other one was a bit of a redirect, ball bouncing around, and Sanchez with some cheeky skill to finish it. They weren't these insane chances. It wasn't San Diego hitting 3 off the post, dominating with 17 shots, right? To me, North Carolina is still missing that fear factor that they could instill in other teams that the North Carolina of yore always did for teams.
I agree.
I like that shout for North Carolina, Jess. I like that you gave it that one. All right, guys, we are going to take a quick break and we're going to come back and do our NWSL A3 Week 7 Best 11. Don't go anywhere. You're going to want to hear this. everyone. Welcome back to A3. We are wrapping up NWSL Week 7 action, or as Sandra calls it, 7.5. Sometimes she likes to throw in that half in there for those games that we played midweek. But we are talking just this weekend, the games that took place from Friday to Sunday, and we're putting together our A3 best 11. Now, we're already getting some threats in the chat about if we don't put certain players in.
Let me review this. I don't want them to riot.
They're going to ride at dawn, all the things. Guys, we love it. We love your input. Thank you for doing it. Jess, so I think you're our forward line for A3 Best 11. And please, for the sake of the YouTube chat, can you start with Riley Tiernan?
Actually, that's who I have. So that's fine. With a brace, how can I not put her on there? All right, I'm reading these off of my phone, out of my notes. So Riley Tiernan is number 1 with the brace. She's killing it, y'all. We got to give this young woman her flowers because she is also making a name for herself, and she's been so impressive to watch. Number 2, this is 2 games back to back where she has scored, and I am happy that she's finally finding her footing with this club, and that is Ashley Sanchez. She's playing out of position, and now she has scored against Utah, and she scored last week against Kansas City. And then I got to give Lynn Biandolo her flowers as well. First goal for Seattle Reign, and still breaking records with scoring. So take a bow, Lynn.
I like that. Wait, who was your second one?
Ashley Sanchez.
Oh, Ashley Sanchez. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I really like the shout for Riley Tiernan, of course, with that brace. I'm going to make an argument, even though they didn't win, for Gift Monday, because this player for Washington Spirit she scored a goal this weekend for them, and she was so influential in her counter press, in her build up, and she is new to the NWSL, and she's looking pretty good, Jess. How do we feel about Gift Monday?
Jess is like overruled.
No.
Oh.
Did.
But who would you substitute her for?
Ashley Sanchez.
Oh, that one's personal. That one's deeply personal, especially since, well, I guess it is the week, not the fact that she scored last week, too.
You know what? When we log off here, we'll rock, paper, scissors.
And we can give it to Sanchez. That's okay. This is your jurisdiction.
That's really how we settle things.
Honestly,
Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, GIF was great. She really was.
We'll give it to you. Okay, so we're going Riley Tiernan, Ashley Sanchez, and Lynn Biandolo for her Seattle goal, 1-0 to get that win over Kansas City Current. Okay, our forwards are set. Cupo, hit us with your midfield.
All right. I didn't rank them. I just, they come to me spiritually, and then I just tell you all from the midfield gods. So if you argue with me, you're wrong. No, I'm kidding. So I'm going with first Angel City, Katie Zellum, because game winner. She managed to squeak that out for them. 72nd minute goal. She just was really good and composed in that midfield. I thought that she set a good tone and helped really in just like the dynamism in their attack. That's one. Okay. Not necessarily one ranked, but it's one of my midfielders. Don't come for me. I have to go Dali because I love her. She's just so freaking good. I could write her a sonnet. No, just she adds to their verticality for San Diego Wave. She draws bodies. They were just so good attacking that flank today. I enjoy watching her play. She's been an excellent add to this league, but San Diego Wave crushed it. The passes in tight spaces, it looks like they've played together for a really long time, and it's just a testament to some of them in the midfield and just their connections. And Jess is like, nope, I'm getting a list together. And then I have to go with I'm gonna go Savannah DeMello for Louisville because I have to have a Louisville player in there. She gave that assist, managed to get a game-winning goal in, again, the 70th minute. And I needed them to have that history-making comeback for them. So hopefully they gain some momentum. I'm still on the Bev for president train. Okay.
A big
What? Go
win
ahead.
for Racing Louisville. I'll give them
Yeah.
that. But what about Denise O'Sullivan for North Carolina Courage?
Yeah.
She was
Yeah.
so good this
Okay.
weekend, Christine.
So
She did such a
it-
good job.
like I love Denise O'Sullivan on any day, like rain or shine. Okay. If I have to, let's see what I said. DeMello, I said Dolly. I'm not getting rid of Dolly. I'll fight you. All right, fine. I'll swap out DeMello for Denise.
Yeah, I like that. I like the shot for Katie Zellum because she got the
Yeah.
game winner. I could also potentially, I would probably lose, but I could make an argument for Neely Martin because for Gotham, she needs to play in the midfield. And Juan Carlos Amorós is like, we'll play you in the outside back. We'll play you in the center back. And she still helped Gotham get a shutout and track
That's
down
fair.
Ludmila and from that center back role. But it wasn't the best game from Gotham. I would argue that if
Yeah,
Neely
I
Martin
mean, I
was
thought
higher
about
up
it. There were
the pitch,
obviously
they would have played
teams.
better.
There were teams that didn't win that I thought they had good, like Croy. Croy was a good contributor late in the game to
My
get the
gosh, if she
equalizer.
only had
But
her first touch in the game for the entire time, I'd be like, she's amazing. She's
yeah,
fantastic.
so
Her
like
first
she
touch
was in my evaluation process. And then you could also say low for leadership in Casey, even though they did not win. But yeah, that would be my fishbowl of players that
Okay.
I was calling
Jess,
to
how
you.
do you feel about our final three with Katie Zellum, Denise O'Sullivan? Are we going with
Yeah.
Sully?
Yeah.
and
We got to go with
Kenzie
Denise. Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree.
Okay.
All good. That's solid.
Congratulations, everyone. We are moving on to our defensive core. I love when I get these. Number one is going to be Reina Reyes. She got
knew
shut
it.
out against
Defender goal. I knew it. I see
Guys,
you.
we had a lot of defenders' goals, but it's more so because of the shutout that Portland got against Orlando Pride. They eliminated Barbara Banda. They eliminated the transition game, which is how Orlando wants to play. They mitigated so many of the threats. So hands up for Reina Reyes. Phoebe McClarnon with Seattle because she has right, they get the win over Kansas City, a shutout win nonetheless, but she has been flexed into so many different roles under Laura Harvey as an outside back, as a center back, in a 4-back line, in a 3-back line. And now Seattle's playing in a 5-back at times against Kansas City when you have to. And Phoebe McClarnon is the glue to that back line. She does everything so well, organizing and getting her head stuck in on aerial crosses. She did so well this weekend. So I'm giving it to Phoebe McClarnon. Giselle Thompson, because you don't score an NWSL goal like that and not make it onto this. And my last one was maybe potentially going to be throughout this final San Diego Bay game was going to be Bay FC's post because they saved them 3 times. But then we got an absolute golazo, the game winner from rookie Trinity Armstrong. So I'm adding Trinity Armstrong to my defender list. How do you feel about that, Christine?
I don't hate it. I mean, like listen, you could tell me that Trinity Armstrong is a goalkeeper and I'd be like, sure, throw her in there wherever you want. I think that's a pretty good back threat.
Yeah.
Like you got the goal scoring gals in there. Were you tasked also with goalkeepers?
I was tasked with goalkeeper, and this one was tricky for me. I won't lie, because we had a lot of good goalkeeping across the weekend.
We did.
My honorable mention is going to go to Jordan Bloomer because she made her
First
regular
start.
season debut, her first start, and she gets the win. But I'm going to give the A3 Week 7 Best 11 Goalkeeper Award to Alyssa Nair. She had a great game against Gotham FC. She kept a clean sheet. She had that huge save at the end for Chicago to keep it a shutout, to keep 1 point on the line and in the pocket of Chicago. 45 shutouts for one club, 50 in her career. So not only did she have a big game, but she made 2 records in one game tonight with this shutout. So I am giving it to the GOAT, Alyssa Nair.
I mean, I can't, it's uncle. Like some things are actually sacred, but I do feel like keepers this weekend were especially important, especially in those David v. Goliath games that ended up being clean sheets. So Mackenzie Arnold coming up big with 4 saves. And then also Claudia Dickey for the Reign managing, I mean, 3 key saves. Like they're,
Yeah.
yes.
I also could see someone making an argument for a defender and Esme Morgan because she had a brace in her game
Yeah.
with Washington, and it was an excellent game, but they didn't win, and they probably should have scored a couple more. And there was plenty of other defenders that had outstanding performances. So
Yeah, Silkowitz with that ridiculously stellar pen save that just how did she know she wasn't going to keep it on the ground? Like that was like mid height. That wasn't up for top bins. That wasn't on the ground. She said, Superman.
I got you. That was Silkowitz, but I'm going with Alyssa Nair, Jess. So
Okay.
that's my goalkeeper, Alyssa Nair. And then for my 4 defenders, Reina Reyes, Phoebe McClernand, Giselle Thompson, and Trinity Armstrong. Any
I love it.
objections? Friends?
None whatsoever.
Thank
We
you.
good. We good.
I got
And they all
approval from
scored.
Kat.
They all scored this weekend.
Phoebe McClernand didn't score,
Oh,
but yeah,
McClernand. Okay. No,
they
she
did
didn't.
all
Okay.
score. But I picked her because of her incredible efforts against Orlando and Barbara Banda. All right, guys, against Kansas City. All right, guys, this was fun. Week 7 in the books. This episode is a wrap. This week is a wrap, and it was fun to do it with both of you. Final thoughts for the people, Jess, before we send them on their way, whether it's reflecting upon this week or looking ahead to this week?
I'm pumped for the NWSL. You know, you never know who's going to win. You never know who's going to get beat. And this is what I'm here for, that type of competition. Shout out to the rookies. Shout out to all the defenders who are scoring. Shout out to the goalkeepers who I don't give enough credit to whatsoever because my natural striker mentality, you know, I don't give keepers too much of their credit that they deserve. But I am super excited just for this season overall. Now that things have settled and things are getting chaotic with NWSL, competition's absolutely fantastic. So that's all I've got.
I'm trying to make a wager with the chat and see like who's the next rookie to pop off and just start scoring goals. Like
Start something,
gonna be like,
Cupo.
yeah,
Start
like
something.
I gotta think like what we can, but like chat, let me know if you're in and we'll confer on what the prize potentially could be. But we gotta get a little wager running because I feel like I already called myself out. I didn't have Riley Tiernan pulling up second golden boot. So like who's next to pop off for the rookies? Are we in? Like we can do a
Either
verbal
way,
agreement.
offensive or defensive. You can go either
Yeah.
way. Chat, let us know what rookie you're
I
watching.
love how you're like, no, defenders too, Christine. I'm like, no, actually midfielders and strikers, but no, yeah, defenders too.
Right.
Too. Ladies, it is a blast chatting footy with you. So thank you for doing this with me. Thanks everyone for hanging with us live on YouTube. If you like this, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. We've got another live tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be Darian Jenkins, McCall Zerboni, and Lo Labonta from Kansas City Current chatting all things from the weekend and NWSL action. Guys, thanks so much for hanging with us. Make sure you listen anywhere you get your pods, and we'll see you tomorrow. For Christine, Jess, and Mark, I'm Lisa. This was Attacking Third.